Today we joined the hallowed halls of all the other YouTubers who have already released their top 10 lists of 2018. Like Watch Mojo or Screen Rant or
the Schmoes
or Screen Junkies. Congratulations, y'all have more time than we do.
Some of y'all get paid to do this.
Yeah. Anyways, we are the Cinefanatics, and we are here with our top 10 lists of our favorite movies from 2018. My name is Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams. Now, we want to be clear right off the beginning. This list is our opinions. These are the movies that we did see that we liked, that we put on the list. That means some movies that might get some Oscar nominations, they're not going to make our list if we haven't seen them yet. For instance, for me, If Beale Street Could Talk is getting a lot of
same with Vice. We haven't
Vice.
We haven't seen either of those yet, so
those aren't going to make our list because we just haven't seen them yet. But they could be potential list makers.
And so, basically, to start off with a list of the best movies of the year, let's start with what I would like to call the turds of the year.
Yep. The nasty, stinky garbage bag.
Why did y'all make these?
Yep, starting off strong with the negativity. That's what we're doing here.
Get the negative out of the way, then we'll move on to the positive.
We call the fart boxes.
Now, here's the thing I would think of notating on this is that we're a new YouTube channel. We don't have all the money in the world.
Again, we don't get paid to do this yet.
Yeah. We don't have all the money in the world to go and see every single movie that comes out in the theaters. So therefore, we do have the benefit, as of right now, to be a little choosy. So if there really is a movie that we can just tell looks like it's going to be terrible, we're probably not going to go see it. So, I mean, there's some that were complete...
Pick your battles, friends.
Yeah. There were some that were complete... like just absolute duds, and we're just not going to see it, and so therefore it's not on our list of worst movies, even though it may be well known as one of the worst movies of the year.
For instance, last year did not see the Emoji Movie. Was that last year? I don't know. It was so bad I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see it whatever year it came out.
Nope.
That means for this year, the ones I considered fart boxes that I did actually see.
Call it fart box.
Fart boxes.
Is that like bird boxes?
That's one of them.
Oh.
That movie smelled like a stinky fart.
Oof.
I had no idea what was going on with the main characters there. It was bad.
Although you got to give the movie credit if you're able to actually smell the movie while watching it.
Nope. Nope. I also would put on that list Rampage. Corny as mess. Knew it was going to be bad going into it.
Still entertaining.
Tried to have fun. Tried to be entertained. Does not mean it was a good movie.
No.
And then... Solo. I hate to put a Star Wars movie on the dishonorable mentions list, but...
If you can't make a good one, guess where it's going to go?
I know a lot of people say it was just okay. I was not a fan. Pass. And then one I know that we both have in common. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. What was that?
I don't know. They're alive. Like me. I don't know what that was. That was so stupid.
She had a weird accent there.
Yeah, just like she has no accent throughout the whole movie and then weird accent there. Yep. Anyways, my worst list, Happy Time Murders or whatever.
Hard passed on that one. Did not see it.
Oh god, how many more like puppets saying cuss words do we need?
I don't know, why isn't there an Avenue Q movie?
That one we actually need.
Yeah.
What was that one that Peter Jackson did? Meet the Feebles. Like that one was like considered a classic, but
yeah.
The other one, like Thoroughbreds. I did not like Thoroughbreds. I know that one got rave reviews, but
never saw it.
I just couldn't connect with it. And quite possibly the worst movie of the year ever. Holmes and Watson. Just what a piece of garbage. Just it pains me even talking about it now. So let's move on.
I was going to try to remember a catchphrase that Sherlock Holmes used, and I can't. Oh, well.
Elementary, my dear Watson, because that's the only people that this movie panders to. Elementary students.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah, so starting off strong with our nasty fart boxes of the year. Going in now, I'm going to jump in first. We're going to do this honorable mentions, and then 10 through 6. And then you're going to do your honorable mentions 10 through 6. And then we'll go from there. I don't want to spoil any more about how we're going to break down the list because you'll understand when you get there.
Yep.
Starting off, my honorable mentions. These are the movies that did not make my list. They just eked out the top 10. Bad Times at El Royale. I thought it was great. Crazy Rich Asians, also really good. Black Klansman. It's surprising for some because I know that's on a lot of people's top 10. It was really good. It just didn't quite get onto that top 10 list for me. I mean, there's a lot of good movies this year.
Yeah.
The two big animated movies for me, Incredibles 2 and Wreck-It Ralph. Neither one of those made it my top 10. Ready Player One, I really enjoyed. Didn't quite make my top 10. And then a Marvel movie didn't make it. This is the year that Marvel and Star Wars don't make the top 10 list.
You better not put Infinity War in your honorable mention.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I put Infinity... No, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It just didn't quite make that top 10 list.
Whew. I was about to say, we're about to lose all of our subscribers.
Yeah. They might as well shut this channel down.
Yeah.
Did not put Infinity War in the top 10.
That would have been bad.
So, that being said, my number 10 going in on this list... I'm a big Damien Chazelle fan.
Oh,
At this point, like, Damien Chazelle has turned into one of those directors, and I'm going to credit Christian Harloff because I've heard him say this on a video over at Collider in the Schmoes. Damien Chazelle has turned into one of those directors where if his name is attached to the project, I'm going to see it. And that's why First Man is number 10 on my list.
Like Damien Chazelle, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese, like any of these directors whose names actually sell the movie. You got Ryan Gosling playing Neil Armstrong in a biopic. And then the first part of the movie, just the crazy intense sequence, and then that whole moon landing sequence. Man, that movie just really brought it home for me. And again, Damien Chazelle.
Yep.
Sold. Number 9 for me, and you didn't actually see this one, but Searching. It's kind of like one of those, like, it just quietly snuck in there and into the theaters and then kind of quietly made its way out to DVD and Blu-ray. I thought it was very unique. The entire movie takes place on a screen of some sort, whether it's a computer screen or like a TV screen showing a news story. It's a really, really interesting take, and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to like this going into it because of how they're doing it, but it held my attention the entire time.
Yeah, see, I look at computer screens enough as is already. I don't need to watch a movie of it.
Between all the videos we have to edit and everything. Yeah. The dad in that movie, you like, because you're spending so much time with him, you're just like...
Is that John Cho?
Yeah.
The MILF guy?
No, Sulu.
Oh.
Yeah, you're just stuck with him, and you're like, the way they do it, you are feeling every beat of what he's feeling, trying to search for his daughter who went missing. It's the twists and turns too. It was really good. I recommend seeing it if you didn't, and it's one of those quiet ones. Number 8, and this is probably going to be a surprise for you. I'm putting Bohemian Rhapsody up at number 8, which isn't to say that it's not good compared to everything else. It's just that there were a lot of good movies this year. You're definitely a bigger Queen fan than me, but you know, as far as that movie goes, like Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury just really sold me on like this movie. Just like, first of all, like whatever you think and feel about controversies aside, whether it told the full story or not, irrelevant. Like, for me anyway, it's irrelevant. It's relevant for some of you. Rami Malek's performance in there, he just nailed that role of Freddie Mercury. I thought it was fantastic and just an overall just really good time as far as biopics go. Usually not my most favorite, but that one really, really good. Moving on to my number 7. This is another fun one, actually. Bumblebee. This is one of those movies that going into this year, I didn't actually think would make the top 10. Obviously, having seen the trailer, I was like, okay, this looks like it'll be a good Transformers movie, finally. And it was a good Transformers movie, finally. Did not predict it was going to be in my top 10.
I've seen it twice now.
Yeah, I've still seen it only once, but I'll watch it again multiple times. Just a good, like, boy and his dog tale, even though it was a girl and her robot.
Her car.
Girl and her car/robot. So
great 80s soundtrack, but they've nailed the 80s-ness of that, like.
Yeah, and it's just like the whole piece of it, like right at the beginning, where they really like showed you the Transformers to their extent. Yeah, I mean, this is the Transformers movie that people have been wanting. I know a lot of people are kind of put off the Transformers and haven't seen it just because of the whole Michael Bay stink, and they've just had enough of Transformers.
It deserves more.
if you can still go see it, I'm not sure if they're still in theaters at this point.
It was, because I just saw it a couple of days ago.
Yeah, if it's still playing in a theater near you and you haven't seen it yet, go see it.
Although by the time you watch this video...
depending on how quickly we get it out.
Yeah.
If it's not, wait for video and then see it on video.
Yeah.
And then rounding out for the top 10 to 6 here, however, that's like 5 numbers. Yeah. Math. I don't do math, I do movies. Number 6 here for me is Isle of Dogs, actually, going way back to the beginning of the year.
There's another movie like from a director that if they make a movie, you're probably just going to watch the movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm not a big Wes Anderson fan.
No, he's not for everybody, but for some, like, people who are more interested in the art house stuff, Wes Anderson's definitely there. He's got a unique flavor all of his own. You know it's a Wes Anderson movie when you take a look at it, including anything that he's done that's claymation, like claymation, stop motion, all that. Like, I loved Fantastic Mr. Fox, and so that's what really sold me on wanting to see Isle of Dogs. On top of that, I thought it was just a unique story, which is something special in this day and age, to get a really unique story. And that really was A Boy and His Dog, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As opposed to Bumblebee. Yeah. That actually was A Boy and His Dog. And I just thought the character, the performances by all the actors, voice-wise, and just the heart of the story was just really well done. I think you might have thought it was a little more slow-paced, as you might think with most Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah.
I knew what it was going into it, and so that's why I was able to sit back and just enjoy the story that they were telling at the speed they were telling it.
Yeah.
Recommend Isle of Dogs. Throw it over to you.
Anyway, so for mine, I guess I'm going to start off with my honorable mentions before I get into my top 10. Real quick, my honorable mentions, some of what you've mentioned. Incredibles 2, that was a fantastic sequel, 14 years in the making. Absolutely loved it. Mary Poppins Returns.
It's a special one for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm connected to the original movie. I love the original. The sequel was not bad. It's going to take some time to grow on me as a part of the Mary Poppins universe, but...
Yeah.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That one hurts me a little bit.
Good story. It was a great use of like a really out there comic book story.
Did not make your top 10.
But did not make my top 10. Black Klansman. Again, honorable mention for me. It's a fantastic movie. I want to put it in my top 10, but yeah, there's just a whole lot of other really good movies out there. Getting into my actual top 10, my number 10 is going to be, surprisingly, Suspiria, the Luca Guadagnino remake. I very much like the original Dario Argento Suspiria. So it kind of pains me the fact that they remade it, but Luca Guadagnino actually did a good job, and I was quite impressed by it, even though it's really weird, and I need to watch it again to fully appreciate it.
Not my type of movie.
No, it is not. You really gotta like horror to like that movie. Number 9 is going to be Christopher... Robin, that's right. Didn't watch my brother. And that one was... all about Winnie the Pooh, and I thought it was a really good movie. I thought Ewan McGregor did a fantastic job as an older Christopher Robin, and just the way the movie, the story, it was just a feel-good movie with a nice throwback to older characters that you know and love.
Super heartfelt.
Yeah. My number 8 is going to be a Marvel movie also.
Infinity War's at number 8?
Yeah,
what?
No, I'm not that crazy. Ant-Man and the Wasp hit my number 8. I thought it was a fantastic movie. Again, originally I didn't think Ant-Man needed to have his own movie, but it's winning me over, and the sequel won me over some more. Plus, it was a really good, like, back to good feeling Marvel movies after the gut punch of Infinity War. So it was nice that returned to form.
You can't go wrong with Paul Rudd.
Until the very end. Never mind.
Yikes.
Number 7 is Creed 2. So the thing is like it's a sequel to Creed, but it's also kind of a continuation of Rocky 4, which for most Rocky fans is kind of where Rocky started like going off.
It's the Rocky cinematic universe.
Yeah. So Rocky 4's where Rocky stories really started going off the track. And the fact that they revisited that while bringing it back to a more realistic, contemporary time with Creed
Yeah.
was fantastic, and I thought they did a phenomenal job with that. Especially like we get to see more of basically what happened to Drago after Rocky IV, and I thought that was entertaining. My number 6, and I really hate the fact that I'm putting this at number 6 because it so deserves to be higher, was Upgrade. Upgrade was the Venom movie that we needed without Venom. And it's funny because it starred Logan Marshall Green, who's commonly thought of as like your poor man discount Tom Hardy. But he did a more, in my opinion, a more superior Venom movie than Tom Hardy did as Venom. And don't get me wrong, I love Venom, the character, one of my favorite comic book characters. The visual effects on Venom were fantastic, but the story, the effects, everything on Upgrade was just completely smooth. It was a fantastic movie, and I very much loved it.
Also not my movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, already, we're seeing these, like, great movies from 10 to 6. And so, like, what's going to be in our next list? Well, actually, we're going to break this next part down in 5 to 3.
5 through 3.
I'm going to do 3 of them right now, and you'll see why in a second. My number 5 is Black Panther.
Only number 5, huh?
Yeah.
So Wakanda doesn't go forever for you, it just goes to number 5.
Yeah. You're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Panther was one of those movies that is introduced now that Marvel knows that they can do whatever they want to do. And so you have a Black Panther movie finally out there, and honestly, one of the best superhero movies ever. I mean, as directed by the box office. Just a fantastic story. The characters in that movie, the villain in that movie, one of the best Marvel villains yet. I mean, there's just so much in that movie. Everything is just so beautiful. Yeah, there's just so much to say about that movie. Mm-hmm. It's definitely earned the top 10 spot at number 5. Number 4, you had this on honorable mentions. I have this as number 4. Best animated movie of the year, in my opinion, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That was a Spider-Man movie. And introducing Miles Morales.
And Spider-Ham?
And Spider-Ham? Like, fine, okay. Yeah, that was just a well-done Spider-Man. Like, I keep saying, what are my top Spider-Man movies at this point? That's still, like, fighting, like, for the number 2 spot against Homecoming for me.
I hear a lot of people doing that. You mentioned Christian Harloff from Schmoes and Collider, and he's like that as well.
Yeah, it's up there. Like, is it Homecoming or Spider-Verse? I don't know. There's just so much in that movie just packed in there. That's such a great story.
Neither it's going to be Far From Home.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But, yeah, definitely recommend Spider-Verse if you haven't seen it. Just a well-told story and introduction to Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
And then my number 3 spot is one you've already mentioned, Creed 2. This is one of those movies that I felt like going into this year, if done right, could be a better movie than Infinity War. That's right, I said it. It could be a better movie than Infinity War. You're right. Obviously, it's at my number 3 spot, and I haven't mentioned Infinity War yet, so...
there might be a reason.
That being said, I loved Creed 2. I thought just... Michael B. Jordan is a tour de force in most of the stuff that he's doing now. I mean, I already mentioned Black Panther, but being able to continue on as Creed's son, as Apollo Creed's son here, Adonis, and just kind of like playing off that chip on his shoulder. I can't talk. Playing off that chip on his shoulder character and just trying to get out of the spotlight of his father from the first movie to this one now. Up against the Dragos, like, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. I'm fighting the son of the guy who killed my dad. Like, that is a story that we didn't know we wanted, but when they did it, yes. Great movie, well told. Just another great entry into the Rocky universe.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to go back to my number 5. What's funny is, like, I'm halfway through my list and I've noticed that I didn't have, like, really any, maybe 1 or 2, I can't remember because I didn't do my research before doing this, but
yes.
I didn't really have any comic book movies in my top 10 last year. I believe maybe Wonder Woman, and I think Spider-Man Homecoming just got out.
You should go back and watch our list last year so you'll know what he's talking about.
And then you can comment down below and let me know that, hey, you should have done your research on your own stupid movies before you did your video. Anyways, so
We like to have fun here.
yeah, it's kind of weird because I feel like my top 10 this year is like littered with comic book movies. My number 5,
Infinity War.
no, stop it. My number 5 was Deadpool 2. I love Deadpool, great character. I love Ryan Reynolds playing him, and it was just right back to like the same old stuff from the first Deadpool movie, and I just loved it. I could eat it up.
Now, for clarification's sake, you're talking about Deadpool 2 and
not Once Upon a Deadpool.
and not the Fred Savage Deadpool.
No, I have not watched that yet.
Same. We saw the original in theaters. Whenever you see the
Honestly,
second one.
I saw Deadpool 2 again not too long ago, so I can't... Like, the next time I'm in the mood to watch Deadpool 2, I'll probably watch Once Upon a Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, I like Princess Bride as much as the next person, but what's your number 4?
I love Princess Bride. What are you talking about? Anybody want a peanut? Yes, love it. So, my number 4... Now, here's what's funny about my number 4. I just knocked you for you putting it at number 5, and then I looked down at my list, I was like, oh... crap.
Yep.
Black Panther. So I put Black Panther at number 4.
His is Wakanda Forever.
Oh, nicely done. So Black Panther, I was not a fan of the Black Panther comic book. It just really wasn't a major character for me. I just really didn't like Black Panther. That movie is phenomenal. That is one of the best comic book movies ever made. That can easily stand head and shoulders with like The Dark Knight, the say first Avengers movie, quite possibly the latest Avengers movie. We'll get to that. But it's definitely high up on the pedestal of comic book movies. I believe it's actually the highest grossing comic book movie so far. If Infinity War, maybe domestically or internationally, I don't know. Y'all look it up and comment down below. I'll look it up after I'm done filming this. I'll already know by the time you comment.
That not being said, the cultural significance that the movie has had also, there's a reason why it's potentially up for an Oscar, actually.
Yes, and rightly so.
Hasn't been nominated yet, but it could be.
It definitely deserves it. My number 3 is a movie that you've already mentioned, but you've also mentioned why I probably put it at number 3. Because I am a bigger Queen fan than you. I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. Yep. Was it true to what actually happened? Absolutely not. But
more so than Greatest Showman.
Yeah. Ooh, whoa, way more. Yep. But was it a good movie? It was fantastic. I loved every second of it. I'm sitting there in a theater. I think we went to go see that at Alamo Drafthouse, which is notorious for not allowing you to talk and text and whatever. And I'm sitting here just trying hard not to sing along, which I think I actually still did. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm just singing under my breath or trying to. Absolutely loved it. You mentioned Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury. Absolutely deserving of... he won the Golden Globes, I believe, already.
I see a little silhouette of a man, and it's an Oscar.
Yeah. Ooh, good one.
Yes.
The only other thing I think to mention that's definitely worth mentioning about Bohemian Rhapsody is the fact that... I didn't know they were going to do all of it, but they recreated the entire, 20-minute long Live Aid performance.
Most of it, yeah.
And they did it shot for shot. I'm still waiting for this movie to come out on video so I could actually sit down and compare it because I'm kind of that stickler who's going to do that.
I didn't mention this because I knew you wanted to.
So, just absolutely mind-boggling. Ugh, I can't talk either.
It's so mind-boggling, he can't say the word.
That... It was all 20 minutes of Live Aid. I thought they were just going to show some portions of it, him starting Bohemian Rhapsody and interacting with the crowd. I'm not going to do it, but because I'm not Freddie Mercury. But that was hands down probably one of the best parts of Bohemian Rhapsody.
So well done.
Yeah.
That brings us down to the final 2, doesn't it?
Yes.
There's a reason why we saved the last 2 for last. Usually we would do 5 through 2, but this time because...
Our top 2 are the same exact movies.
So we're going to mention them at the same exact time. So number 2 is a movie that has a little bit of controversy around it right now. And I don't really want to get into that because I just like to ignore controversy and just enjoy the movie. And that's Green Book.
Green Book was fantastic.
Another movie that going into the beginning of this year, I didn't really know anything about because I don't think we heard anything about it at the beginning of this year. But by the end of the year, it just slipped in there.
Yeah.
Number 2.
So, I get what the controversy is. And it's kind of one of those, it's also it is a biopic-ish. movie, and it is based off of real life people, because that's what a biopic is, apparently. And there were many changes and stuff that were dramatized, I can't say that word, but for this movie.
Exaggerated.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of the controversy is. Plus, maybe like kind of like maybe the socio-political slants that were in this movie. Yeah, there's a lot of controversy to it.
Hot button stuff.
Yeah, but I think I look past all that.
Look at the story of the movie.
Look at the story, and the number one thing I think that got both of us is just the friendship, the interaction between Viggo Mortensen's character and Mahershala Ali's character.
Yeah.
Like, at first you saw them butting heads and not quite getting along, not really trusting each other. And by the end of the movie, you're like, I want to be friends with y'all. We could have just sat there. I think we said this maybe in the review as well. We could have just sat there listening to those two talk to each other all day.
Honestly, like by the end of the movie, I'm ready to sit down in a cozy living room with them and just listen to both of them tell stories.
Yeah, I don't even have to. Just give me like a glass of whiskey, and I'm just gonna sit there and just listen to them talk, and just.
That's why you're looking at Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali up for awards for this. There's a reason for it, because both of those performances that they put in just were stellar, so good. Like, I talked about Damien Chazelle being a director whose name sells a movie. Mahershala Ali at this point is an actor whose name sells me a movie.
Now, as far as director goes, I think that's kind of funny to touch upon too, is that this movie was directed by Peter Farrelly, one of the two Farrelly brothers, who's known for stupid, corny, not necessarily stupid, but I mean, just kind of weird, idiotic type of movies.
Stupid in genre,
Dumb
not
and
in
Dumber,
actual...
There's Something About Mary. Like, these are all, like, just off-the-wall movies. And he turns in a movie that is fantastic, that gives you all the feels, and... Oh, you just feel like a better human being just from watching it. I mean...
And it's good they had a comedic director doing it, too, because the comedy that they put into that movie just kind of really just tied up all the...
It felt natural. It felt...
Yeah.
It felt authentic. My favorite part that I like, as far as how the comedy goes, the interaction was in the trailer. The whole interaction about him eating the fried chicken was absolutely hilarious. Just the banter that they had in that scene.
I'm gonna get the grease on my blankie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason it's up there at number 2, and it's just because the story, the acting, the directing, everything in that movie just was a solid effort by everyone involved. That brings us to number 1, though.
So number 1, and here's something that I want to show real quick, and I am going to edit this in here. So for number 1, if you think back, and if you haven't seen it, feel free to go back and watch.
Super Troopers 2!
No. Wow, weird. Oh.
Just kidding.
That was a decent movie. If you go back and you watch our video of, like, the top movies that we're looking forward to of 2018, we held on to this movie until the very end because we knew it was going to be a big, powerful movie. So
I think we got it all.
That was pretty much it, I believe.
We hit every big movie.
I believe so.
Oh yeah, except for one.
Avengers Infinity War.
Big old purple man here is going to come and take over the world.
So, yeah, as you can see, I mean, we kind of held off on that, kind of making, like, the joke of, like, oh, we're going to forget about this movie. But that was one of the most powerful movies going into 2018, and it turned out to be...
Aquaman!
No!
Oh.
It did turn out to be probably the most powerful movie ever of 2018. I don't know how to word that, but... Yeah, Aquaman. Now you got me doing it.
Infinity War!
Avengers Infinity War. How did Marvel pull this off?
10 years.
Starting with Iron Man in 2008 and taking 10 years to reach this, where they could pull in a successful thing. Here's the thing with comic books, and we were talking about this the other night, that when you do comic book crossovers, like, say, the Infinity Gauntlet story that this movie is based off of, they're all just drawn and written characters. You could pull all these characters out of nowhere. Like, the comic books have no problem with licensing. So one of the major characters of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline was Silver Surfer, who as of right now, this second, is currently owned by Fox, probably about to be owned by Disney. Yeah. But they couldn't pull Silver Surfer into the Infinity War movie. So the problem with that as movies is that you do have actors that represent those characters. If, after Avengers Endgame, they want to have Captain America come back in, they gotta either sign a whole new contract with Chris Evans, or, that's saying, if I'm just hypothetical real quick, that Chris Evans leaves at the end of Endgame, as we're all kind of speculating right now, is that they would have to sign like a new contract, or they'd have to pay him an absurd amount for like a one-off appearance. Yeah. You don't have to pay heroes to appear in comic books. You just draw them, you just write them, and they're there. So that's one of the big differences. And Marvel was absolutely able to pull this off. Everybody got on board, and they were able to make a significant movie out of this, and it's just mind-blowing that they were able to do that after 10 years.
Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Like, obviously we still haven't seen this story wrap up yet, because Avengers Endgame, as of this video, has not yet come out, though we've seen a trailer. That is a huge deal. Nothing like it has ever been done in the history of cinema, where you're taking multiple franchises over the course of many years. You are able to tie down all these actors with contracts and be able to churn out good movie after good movie after good movie. Like, obviously, like, some people question Iron Man 2, Thor Dark World. Some of these movies are not what some people consider the strongest movies, but for the fact of the matter is that a weak movie for Marvel is a strong comic book movie still anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that is a huge deal. And then not only getting into that, but the story, the villain. We have Thanos, who is probably at this point the quintessential Marvel villain for the MCU. I mean, you had your Lokis, you have your Killmongers. These have been great villains with great stories, but Thanos just really set the bar a lot higher in terms of villain and story for what the Avengers have to face up against.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he was, like, as far as, like, comic book people knew who Thanos was. But he was not a character that people knew. People barely knew who Iron Man was before the movie came out.
Right.
I guarantee nobody outside of the comics knew who Thanos was. If you were just to point to a picture of him, you're like, oh, there's a purple guy with a wrinkly chin that kind of looks like a... Never mind.
Is that... It's Grimace, as Star-Lord said. He's a McDonald's character.
Yes. So now Thanos is known.
He's a household name.
Yeah, people know who Thanos is.
But Marvel's done this already with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, nobody... Yeah. Now everyone's saying I am Groot like it's just a fun thing for them to say, like, not realizing that I am Groot has been a phrase said by Groot in comics for years.
Yeah, like any of the Guardians of the Galaxy, like, nobody would have ever thought that they would have made a movie of that.
And this is just a testament to what Marvel has been able to accomplish, specifically with Disney dollars, and just being able to get these characters, put them on the big screen, give them heart, give them such good arcs that people actually are invested and care about these characters, and to the point where we go from Iron Man, which this seems like a story which is kind of realistic, it seems like it could happen, to fast forward through now, we have Guardians of the Galaxy meeting up with this kind of realistic character, we have Doctor Strange doing magic around technology. Like, Marvel has been able to accomplish something that most comic book movies prior have not been able to cross the threshold of, and that is, how do we make these characters realistic and believable when we're dealing with magic and supernatural stuff? Like, that is something like early 2000s, late 90s comic book movies.
Oh, I'd even go back further than that. Like, even as like the Batman movies of the 90s were kind of trailing off, they're like, okay, this is getting kind of hokey and stupid.
The Poison Ivy and
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
And then you had like
campy.
You had other movies come out like Spawn. Just Blade. Blade was really good, but the thing with Blade is that no one knew it was a comic book movie. And like if you were to tell me back like in the late 80s, early 90s, especially the early 90s, as we're seeing a renaissance of these, at least the comic book animated cartoons. Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man, Superman, all of these started coming out, and you're like, this is good, this is entertaining. If you would have told me that the comic book movie scene would be the way it is right now back then, there's no way I would have believed you.
No.
It's not possible. Comic book movies back then were kind of like how we still joke about video game movies nowadays. You can't make a good video game movie.
And Marvel said, hold my beer.
Exactly. So, Marvel did a fantastic job. Infinity War is easily the best movie of the year.
That being said, what do you think is going to be number one this next year?
Endgame. I mean, here's the thing, and that we'll probably touch upon this. We're going to do a video of like movies we're looking forward to in 2019.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that we have Endgame coming out the same year as Episode 9.
Exactly.
And
I am not jealous of myself whatsoever. Envious of myself?
Feel like I'm really more hyped for Endgame at this point, and I love Star Wars.
Same for me.
Oh, it's just weird how that happens. So we'll touch more upon that in the next video. That's gonna do it for this video. That was our 2018. Not quite the best year personally, but fantastic year for movies. So yeah, what did you think of our list? What were your best movies of 2018? Comment down below, like it, hit unlike if you like. At least you watched the video. That's awesome for us. So
A view is a view, and we appreciate all the views.
if you didn't like this video, let us know why. And no one ever tells us why. You just say,
Somebody let us
dislike
know.
and move on. Let us know why so we can make this better for you, because we want you as a viewer, as a consistent viewer.
Uncle Sam, we want you as a viewer of Cinefanatics.
I had no idea I was doing that. Anyways.
Yeah, like, comment down below.
Subscribe button over here.
little
There's a
logo.
bunch of other videos over here.
Something to check out right there.
And as always,
Don't forget to join the Jelly of the Month Club.
that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year round. Later.
See ya. But seriously, Solo was a fart box.